are two things that the freeze response needs. We learned about one of them in the 21-day journey. And now you're going to learn about the other one. Time. And you know this from your experience in the 21-day journey. The freeze response cannot be rushed. Believe me, I've tried for years. If that were successful, I would be the master at it. I have tried every possible way to rush the freeze response, and it just needs time. The other thing that it needs is energy. Why? Why energy? Of all the other things that we could give it, why energy? Because let's trace this back and go back to the stress response. What was going on in the stress response? The stress response was a very active response. For many of us, our nervous system has been trained to go so quickly into the freeze response that some of us don't really even remember what it feels like to sit with the stress of something, right? We think we're stressed and yet we're really overwhelmed. But if we truly are just looking at the stress response, it is a very, very high energy state. It is movement. It is taking action. It is not passive. Passive is the freeze response. I'm just going to let this happen to me. So the stress response is very high energy. Your mitochondria working overtime to give you the energy to actively respond to the stress. And the moment that your body, your autonomic nervous system senses that, hey, we may not have enough energy to fight this danger and overcome, the immediate response is shut down, collapse into the freeze response. Why? Because the freeze response is the conservation of energy rather than the expenditure of energy. And this has now been decided by my body, by the autonomic nervous system, that this is my best strategy for survival. Energy conservation. And so here you've gone from a massive energy expenditure. You can feel the adrenaline, your muscles want to do whatever, right? Tear something apart, for example, right? Like that takes energy. And now you've gone into I'm going to conserve energy because that is the nervous system strategy for your best survival. So as long as it's in this energy conservation state, it has the mindset, if you want to say that the autonomic nervous system has a mindset, its thoughts are, I only want to use up as much energy as I need to, because I don't know how much energy I can spare. In fact, I feel like I can't spare any, I don't have any excess, nothing. So I'm only going to do the least amount of effort. I'm going to decide which things get my energy and which things I don't have the energy to care about. And so the freeze response is an energy issue. If the body had more energy, it would have stayed in the stress response. It wouldn't have even gone into the freeze response yet. The freeze response is the message of overwhelm to the system, an overwhelm of we don't have enough resources for this level of danger, threat, stress. Or remember that the other trigger for the freeze response is too little for too long. And so you've been working with a deficiency of something for too long. And there doesn't need to be any trauma. There doesn't need to be any life event or situation. It's just we've reached that point where we are so depleted that there's nothing left. But even that is an energy issue. So to come out of the freeze response, the system literally has to have the energy to do that. It has to have the sense that I have extra energy now that I can use to come out of the freeze response. Which is why for some people, we talk about this kind of being a journey, right? A journey of their nervous system where they may start always in sympathetic, but then they're going down this journey and now they're starting to go into the freeze response. So now they're doing both. They're going back and forth. And with more time, what happens? Now they're just in the freeze response because they don't have the energy that the system needs to come back out into what will be the sympathetic response or the stress response. The freeze response needs two things. Time. Bummer. I hate that. I wish I could give it, bribe it with anything else. Just don't take my time. I've already spent enough time in the freeze response. I don't want to spend more time. What do you mean you just want time? No. It needs time and it needs energy.